News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset, y'all. 800-288-WBAP is our number. 800-288-9227. What a story. A woman is arrested for road rage shooting in Dallas. It was in southern Dallas, and this woman and her mom were driving to work on I-20 when Tuesday evening when another vehicle, Channel 8 reports, swerved onto the freeway from an on-ramp. Like, we didn't provoke him. We did nothing. We were literally just driving our regular route to work. I don't doubt that, actually. The Channel 8 WFAA reports the woman says the driver swerved and brake checked them for several miles. I mean, why are you letting him do this for several miles? Get off. This is the time when you're going to be late, and it's because some guy terrorized you. Call 911 and get off the road as soon as the exit is, but don't let him know you're getting off the road. Don't indicate, don't signal. Stick in your normal pattern, and then get the heck off as soon as you can without him seeing you or knowing you. Get off at the last second. And this is where she gets stupid. He says a police affidavit says the man in the 2020 Chevrolet Suburban started aggressively cutting her off while still driving. She reached for her handgun, the driver, the female, and fired a warning round at the other vehicle, causing the back window to break. Okay, you're an idiot. If you killed a kid in that car, you're going to jail for homicide, and you should. You are an absolute moron right there. Then, this is what the audio from WFA TV Channel 8 talking to them says.
Fired the warning shot, and she was like...
But in hindsight, do you think it was right to fire at someone's window? Someone's back window?
In that instance... I was scared for my life. And then he lifted up his arm walking towards our car, and that's when my mom did the shot.
So she fired the warning shot and said she didn't want to die, the woman said about her mom. And then she said she didn't want her daughter to die because she felt like she was protecting me. She wasn't protecting you by shooting the man's back window out. At that point, you should have called 911 within about 30 seconds of this. As soon as you get out of the shock of what's happening, the immediate shock, one of you pulls your head out of your rump and calls 911, and it should be the passenger. And the other thing is the passenger, you look to get off at an exit, you do not provoke him. And I know I've been in the car when people get provoked and with me, and it's not even my fault. I'm like, this person's, they're like insane. You see, like jumping around, screaming at you. Don't look at them. Don't react. Inside, you're thinking lots of things, bad, good, ugly, whatever. Doesn't matter. Act like you don't even know that they're doing anything, and do not react. Because if you're like, oh, sorry, they might look at it as you're saying F you and not misread you. These people you don't know who you're dealing with. And second of all, I carry. I've never pulled out my gun. The only time I've pulled out my gun is like, if I feel like, ATM, sometimes I'll have my hand on my gun because, especially when it's dark, I'm like, people get jacked all over the Metroplex here all the time. So I just have it there ready to go. If somebody walks up to me, I'll just produce it right away and there won't be a problem. But like, I've never produced it to show it to anybody. I've never once. And I've been a licensed carry holder for probably 10 years now. I don't even know. It's been so long. This woman's an absolute idiot. And I'd say the only time I can think of when you might want to shoot the car is if he's shooting at you. That's a self-defense thing because he's shooting, he's going to kill you, and you're trying to get away from him. Pull out your gun and fire back if you have to. But other than that, there's no reason to shoot out of your car at the guy's car. And number two, then this woman's a super idiot because she gets out. He pulls off at an exit and she gets off with him. That's literally you are a massive moron. He's a man. You're a woman. Just because she got off because she had a gun, she's like, I'm going to kill him. I'm going to shoot him. I guarantee that's why she did that. So she gets out. He comes at her. I think she said she shot at him or something. He lifted up his arms towards the car, and that's when my mom shot him. And she hit him, and she had no reason to shoot the guy. When you get out of the car and you pull over, you're the freaking moron. You're just as guilty as he is. You're a moron. Don't ever get out of your car. Don't ever pull over. If it's road rage, don't pull over. If there's a crash and somebody's road raging, keep your door locked and call 911. And you can just yell through the window, the cops are on their way. And if they bother you, I'm armed. Get away from this car. Don't produce it. The only time you produce it if they start threatening you or banging on the window, then you can produce it just to show it to them. You don't have to even point it at them. It just depends on what's happening, obviously, but this is the worst thing I've ever seen. This woman's been charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, bonded out of jail for $100,000. Aggravated assault with a deadly weapon is the exact right charge. She shouldn't be a gun owner. I'll play what the gun expert says about this, but I want to hear from you. Do you think this woman committed a crime by firing at this man's car and then shooting him after she got off the road and got out with him for a confrontation? What should she have done instead? And what kind of road rage incidents with guns have you seen or heard about? Or maybe with some kind of a weapon. Maybe somebody brought out a baseball bat. I had a guy do that with my friend and I, crowbar actually. And what's your advice about carrying while driving? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Line's wide open, 3-4 minutes, we can take your call. So if you're calling right now, we can pop you on. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Here's the, he is with the Texas Concealed Carry Institute. I don't know if it sounds like it's probably a good institute, but I couldn't speak anything of them, if they're an agenda group or not. Here he is.
I don't see any self-defense at all. Just because a car cuts you off multiple times is not a reason to discharge a firearm at the vehicle. If she was truly in fear of that person, why would she not keep driving and remain on 911 until police intercepted?
Now, he's not, what is he? He's with the, I don't even know if he's an attorney that specializes in defense, defense law or firearm laws, I should say, in Texas, but I think he's right. And it's about, is there a real threat? Did he start it? Did you start it? He was not. Road rage is not a reason to shoot somebody's car. Road rage is a reason to be evasive, non-aggressive, to call 911, and to do your best to not aggravate the situation, avoid the guy or gal, slow down, let them get around you, let them go after you and flip you off and think they won. All good. You won. Good luck with your life now. Yeah. It's not worth winning. It's not worth flipping somebody off. People get shot and killed. There was a guy with his wife in the car, and she had warned him before when they were in the car together in their minivan with their kid, you're going to get killed doing that. And then lo and behold, a month or 2 or 3 later, he did that, and he heard a gun, and something hit the car, and he thought he was fine. He told his wife to dial 911. He looked over, her head was tilted. She was dead. She was hit. So he didn't listen to her. He figured it out the second time after she told him not to do it, but it was too late. She had a bullet in her head. She's dead. That was in our local news about, 3 to 8 months ago, between 3 months and a year ago. These things happen all the time. All the time. It's just sheer stupidity, whether you're a mother, a daughter, or just a person that has no relatives. You're a fool if you do this crap. So do you think this woman committed a crime by firing at this man's car and then getting out of the car and road raging with him and then shooting him? And what do you think she should have done instead? And what kind of road rage incidents with guns or other weapons have you seen or heard about? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. My advice is what I already told you. Just ignore the person, get out of their way, let them be an idiot, let them feel like they won. You don't know who they are, what they're doing, and if they're going to shoot you or not, it's not worth it. Let them win. If they continue to go nuts on you, Do your best to don't ever pull over, and that's a great way to get into a fight or get killed or get hurt or do what this woman did, be stupid. I don't have sympathy for you if you pull over and then you're carrying and you get into a thing and then you shoot and kill somebody. It's like, well, you're an idiot. Why did you pull over? Because I had a gun, so I knew I could do it. Well, you shouldn't have a gun then. I try to think of it as like you have to remember you always have it because there's some places you can't go to, and there's also you got to be very cautious. I think it's something when it's like this is when you need one, and that's when you have one for. You know, like, oh my gosh, I'm going to need it. I've even thought it's not going to be easy to get me to pull it out on a confrontation. It's lawful in Texas to produce your weapon, your firearm to de-escalate in Texas, and I may do that one time. But really, for me, it's more of like, okay, we're about to have a serious problem, and it's time to produce a de-escalate or to protect. You know, or one of the best things I've heard too is if you have time to just say, I'm armed, back off. But not showing it, not holding it, don't show where it is. You don't want them to know where it is or what you have or anything, you know. And then if they come after you at that point, then you got to produce it, I would say. But even then, you don't necessarily have to point it. It just depends. But people are stupid. There's a lot of people who shouldn't have firearms. There's a lot of people that don't know what to do. Let me tell you what my friend taught me. He's got what we call the bunker. He's my dear friend who was in Atlanta PD. Now he's a suburban cop in Atlanta and a dear friend. And his basement's got he calls the bunker, and he's got tons of guns, tons of ammo. He makes his own ammo. He's a former Marine, current police officer. And if I was by him like I used to be, he would be my apocalypse home. My wife and I would go over with him and his wife and our kids, and we would hold down the bunker because he's ready for it. And we'd just be an extra pair of guns, including my son and daughter, be another four guns with our own guns. But he's the one who taught me. He loaned me his handgun over the weekend once for the first time. I had one in my possession because of him, and that's when my kids and wife were out of town for the weekend. They were very little, and so he said, "See how it is. Be comfortable with it. You can carry it in the car. It's lawful without a license in Georgia." So I did, and that began my journey with him. He took me he's shooting for the first time at a range. It was really amazing. And then that's when I began in earnest learning. And he said, don't even own one until you're trained. And he said, same thing with the taser. They'll use it against you. Do not own one. And so he's the biggest gun proponent, biggest Second Amendment proponent. But I think he's right. So I stand by what he taught me. And this woman wasn't trained, and she was a fool. And she was aggressive because she had that gun. So that's why she's got to go to jail, unfortunately. But it is what it is. All right, coming up next on the Chris Kroc Show on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3. Joe Biden said today that he isn't sure that the 2024 election will be peaceful. What kind of a president says that he's not sure if in 32 days when the election happens, whoever wins, if it's going to be peaceful? Who says that? Why would you say that? What do you think he's trying to do there? Why is he doing that? There's a reason for this. I want to talk to you about that and see what you think, and I'm going to tell you what I think about that. You'll hear what he said, too. Coming up next at 22 after the hour on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset, y'all. 800-288-WBAP is our number. 800-288-9227. So Joe Biden was asked today in this surprise show-up press conference, and everybody gasped at one point when he said that he's running for president again. And probably decided to show up because he was PO'd that Axios, a leftist, left-leaning news column or news outlet, reported today that I'll read you the headline. It's embarrassing for Joe Biden, but it's very true. And it was hard for him to see this, I'm sure, because he's this is the kind of stuff he reads, like the New York Times and Morning Joe is like his favorite show. Oh my gosh, that's an embarrassment to say. But I guess that's why he is who he is. But his Axios said the disappearing Bidens. This is quite horrible. A quiet end to a presidency. He hadn't scheduled public events in 43 of 75 days since he dropped his reelection bid. Reflection of the 81-year-old president's unpopularity and age limits. Anyway, so here he is today, and he's asked about the election. Will we have a peaceful 2024 election?
A fair election, and that it will be peaceful.
Two separate questions.
Very much.
I'm confident it'll be free and fair. I don't know whether it'll be peaceful.
Why would you say that? I'll finish it off here.
The things that Trump has said and the things that he said last time out when he didn't like the outcome of the election.
Don't worry, he'll win, so there won't be a problem anyways.
Were very dangerous. If you notice, I noticed that the vice presidential Republican candidate did not say he'd accept the outcome of the election. They haven't even accepted the outcome of the last election. So I'm concerned about what they're going to do.
Yeah, he's so bad. You know what? If anything, I'm concerned about what the left will do when he wins. I mean, do you remember there were riots? Remember his motorcade and the riots and stuff like that? Like the day he won, or was it the inauguration? I think it was. Remember that crazed leftist woman with the glasses going, yeah! That meme? That's my favorite of all time. That woman, or they them or whatever gender she is. Yeah, she had too many cats and no kids. So, but the Haitians ate him. So she only has one left that she saved. Did you see the Haitian spokesperson at the UN when he gulped that whole water? He picked up the pitcher in the middle of his speech and drank out of it and spilled out all over his thing. And he went, and then he kept going. And you see the clump of cat hair on his lapel? Oh, it was terrible. It was terrible. Oh my gosh, they even eat them when they're here, like the politicians. Oh my gosh. Anyways, I think if anything, I don't think there's anything threat to anything. I think he is saying that to hurt Trump's chances, and I think it's disgusting. And I think it's disgusting and outrageous and hurtful to this country for the president of the United States to talk like that. He does that for politics and for trying to score political points for Kamala. But dude, you are just you are destroying our nation by talking like that. Shame on you. The time to talk like that is if he starts doing something wild after the election or something. You don't mention stuff like that. You're literally getting people nuts to give him to try to execute him again. He's in Butler this weekend. Elon Musk is showing up. There's a whole list. I'm going to give you a long list of heroes that are showing up and wonderful leaders. But screw you. How dare you? My question for you are twofold. Do you agree with Joe Biden that we might not have a peaceful election? Why do you think he's saying that? And do you think it might not be peaceful for other reasons? Which side do you think could go nuts? Oh, I don't think our side's going to go nuts if we lose. Happened last time. We didn't like it. But other than people trespassing at the Capitol, it didn't happen. Other than that nothing else happened. And no, there was no issue. We didn't freak out. We didn't like it. Not going to happen on our side. It's going to be your side. Shame on him for saying that, though. 800-288-WBAP is our number. 800-288-9227. I will tell you the latest on that, along with where we think the chances are of Trump versus Kamala. But do you agree with Biden we might have a peaceful election? And why do you think he's saying that? And which side do you think might not be peaceful based on the outcome? Next on the Chris Crock Show, 800-288-WBAP, News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset, y'all. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. All right, check this out. This is Kamala when you everybody in the world sees this, and it's on my Twitter feed. You see this, and it's obviously clear. She keeps looking at her teleprompter, and it's dead. It died, so she doesn't know what to say. So she just repeats herself. She starts going off script because she has no script, and she literally says a word over and over and over again. Hold on. And let's see. I want to make sure I get this right. There's a couple different versions of a couple different things. Here's the first one where you can literally tell the time that the prompter goes out and happen. I think this is the one where she repeats herself 3 times, same word over and over again.
Remember his number, 32. Today we got 32 days until the election.
Teleprompter just went out. She keeps looking down, going, oh boy, breathing heavy, and go, oh boy. See?
So 32 days.
So let me go back now, because you're hearing her say 32 like 5 times in like 35 seconds.
Remember his number, 32. Today we got 32 days until the election.
Prompter's out.
So 32 days. 32 days. Okay, we got some business to do. All right. 32 days. And we know we will do it. And this is going to be a very tight race until the very end. This is going to be a very tight race until the very end. We are the underdog, and we know we have some hard work ahead.
What she said 32 in 32 days, like 4, I think, or 5 times. And then she says, we got some hard work ahead twice in a row. So she's just, it's that the algorithm is stuck, or the AI is stuck, and it just keeps repeating the same thing over and over again. So I wonder what you think the chances of of Trump winning today are. I think they've gone up. And I think it's going to be, I mean, this seems ridiculous. No, I'm going to tell you this. Nothing is going to hurt Trump's chances anymore for the rest of the thing. This Jack Smith thing the other day, nobody cares about that. Did you hear that audio? I played it for you one night. It's on my Twitter feed. It's back from last week sometime. But there's a couple guys, union guys on the East Coast, and MSNBC asked them, I think they were in New Jersey or I don't know where, or somewhere, maybe in Pennsylvania, and they're like, what do you think of the January 6th? And like 3 of the guys are like, what? And they're like, oh, is that Capitol thing? Yeah, I literally don't follow. I'm not following that at all. Like, they didn't care. All they care about right now is the economy and their wallet and their inflation and grocery prices and electricity prices and gas prices, energy prices. So they literally don't care about that, and none of them seem sympathetic to Kamala. The Hispanic vote is almost upside down for her compared to Joe Biden and Barack Obama. The black vote is unfortunately going way back. For us, it's fortunately going way ahead for Trump, comparatively speaking, particularly with black men. And blue collar, it's amazing today. You have the International Firefighter Association, for the first time, not endorsing a Democrat. You know when they endorsed Joe Biden? You know when they endorsed him? The International Firefighter Association. They were the first union to endorse him in the whole campaign in 2019. In April, we are sitting 32 days before the election, and they announced today they're not endorsing Kamala. They're endorsing nobody. And that is a huge thing. Apparently, it gets a lot of union votes out there. A lot of union, I should say, support, groundwork out. Nope, she ain't getting none of that. She also lost, as you know, the very important Teamsters Union. I think they're the largest union in the country. And they by the way, the members, as you recall, the Teamsters, 61% and 60% in 2 separate votes, internal votes from their own people, voted for Trump. They overwhelmingly support Trump. And then in the International Firefighters Association, I heard on Fox News today, it's the same kind of numbers on their internal polling. That's why they didn't endorse her. So, dude, 60% on international firefighters, 60% on Teamsters. And then I played you the audio yesterday on Fox Business. The international, what's it called? Whatever the, I can't remember the ILA is their name. International Longshoremen Association that was on strike for a few days. They literally, all the members, like 30 to 50 of them were on Fox Business Live, and then they asked them at the end of the interview, live on television on Maria Bartiromo's show, they said, who are you voting for Kamala? And none of them said anything. They said nothing. And they said, and one man's like, it's none of your business. He was nice about it. He was like, it's nobody's business who I'm voting for. But everybody else just said basically like, nope, didn't say anything. No response. Meaning they're voting for Trump. I don't know why he said Trump. Because they ain't not voting, I can tell you that. I'm going to share some details from CNN pollster today that are really bad news for Kamala. It's some of this deep stuff, but it's very understandable and makes perfect sense. And it compares in this specific statistical category that's a very simple and obvious one. It's are we on the right track currently? And the current administration, are we on the right track if they get reelected? And for this case, it's the current administration continuing over with Bidenomics number 2. Kamala is an extension of his policy. She actually copied and pasted his policies from his campaign page and was caught, and it's still up there. It's the same thing. So what are the chances? Right now, the country that says we are on, the country says only 28% of Americans say we're on track. Only 28% of Americans say we're on the right track right now as a country. What are the chances for the administration that is up for re-election at this very moment when you have only 28% folks saying we're on the right track? Bad. And I'll let CNN say it for themselves. It's very bad. And then we're going to compare it to 96, 88, 2004, and 2012, and 84 with that Reagan blowout. It's bad news for her. There's many little bad news things. There's a new poll that came in that's a national poll. It's good. The big rally coming up in Pennsylvania with Trump. Elon Musk is showing up in Butler. They're coming back for Butler, where the assassination attempt, the first one was. That's next on the Chris Crock Show. Lines wide open at 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. What do you think Trump's chances of winning are right now, today? Why do you think Kamala can't close the deal? She just can't close the deal. Whether it's not the unions that are most important in this, it's just the numbers. Right now, she's ahead by 1 or 2 points in the national poll, which will mean she'll lose. And the Real Clear Politics average of polls for the swing states, Trump is up by like a half point overall. So it's very bad news for her. And it's good news for him, but it's still too tight to know who's going to really win. But that bodes well for him. So I want to hear your thoughts on that. What do you think Trump's chances of winning are today, and why do you think Kamala can't close the deal? 800-288-WBAP. Lines wide open. Chime in right now, 800-288-9227. Coming up next, you hear the latest poll, how CNN says this is bad news, and why on the on track for the country vote. Next on the Chris Crock Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, and now on FM at 93.3 at 9:46.
I think that this sort of gets at a problem for Kamala Harris's campaign. Just 28% of Americans think the U.S. is on the right track. And I want you to put that into perspective, right? When does the average, when the incumbent party loses the election? Look at that. It's just 25%. That looks a heck of a lot like that 28%, right, that currently think the country is on the right track. When the White House party wins, i.e. Kamala Harris's party, the Democrats, 42% on average think that the country is on the right track. This 25% looks a lot more like this 28%. It doesn't look anything like this 42%. This, to me, is a bad sign for Kamala Harris's campaign. The bottom line is it looks a lot more like a loser than it does like a winner when it comes to the country being on the right track.
So here's some of those details. That's CNN pollster guru Harry Enton. And he goes through many things. Currently, the polls show that if you are on the right track at around 25%, you will lose. Kamala right now and Joe are at 28%. They're very close to that mark of you will not win the election, period, at 25%. And the administrations that are on the right track by 42% win. So they're right now at 28% on the right track which is much closer to the losing 25%, okay? And if they are 38, if they're 15 points higher at 42% of the country saying that we're on the right track, getting close to half, then you will win for sure, he says. For example, the administration that won in 1996, 39% of Americans said we're on the right track. Today, it's 28. In 1988, 41% of Americans said we were on the right track. They won. Today, it's 28. In 2004, 41% of Americans said we're on the right track. They won. Today, it's at 28. In 2012, Americans said 42% of the country is on the right track. And that's when I believe Obama won his second term. He won. In 1984, when the country said we were 47% on the right track, that's 5 points over the threshold of winning, as far as approval rating for what we're on the right track. Reagan had a blowout that year, okay? I think that's where Mondale won in Minnesota, and that was it, if I'm not mistaken. A win for Kamala with only 28% approval rating for the economy's on the right track rating would be a historically unprecedented, he said, quote unquote. So, and he says that there aren't any, real new precedents set, like, maybe Trump is so horrible to some people that he's an anomaly. Well, to some people that he is horrible, but unless there's some precedent that's never happened, he says Trump is going to win right now, and that's a good thing. And you have a brand new poll from the Daily Mail today. Trump takes his biggest lead yet in the Daily Mail election model. So that's like a predictable model. Like they take all sorts of things together, surveys, polls. And right now, Daily Mail model shows the former President Trump winning with 56.7% chance of the simulations. So of 56% of the 0.7% of the simulations. So basically 57% of all simulations he wins. That's pretty dang good. Meantime, Frank Luntz, the independent pollster, said today, poll after poll shows voters want to hear more details from Kamala Harris about her policy. She still trails far behind Trump in media interviews. She has done 0 press conferences. Total media interviews, Harris-Walz, 23, Trump-Vance, 63. Trump-Vance have given you 3 times the interviews and press conferences. That tells you everything. Tomorrow, is it tomorrow or is it Sunday? Tesla and SpaceX CEO Elon Musk will be there in Pennsylvania at the Butler rally, and Corey Comparatore's widow will be there. His whole family will be there. The gentleman who was killed, the Trump supporter, at the last Butler rally. Also, in fact, J.D. Vance will be there, so that's a big deal to have the vice presidential candidate and the president 32 days before the race or 31 days before the race this weekend. So it's Saturday. It's tomorrow. I cannot wait for it. I will be listening. I promise you that. And it's going to be incredible. It's going to be big, really big. And then Eric Trump and Laura Trump will be there as well. That's awesome. And it's a victory thing. And it's one of these things that is a big, very important for him personally to go back as a victim and to own it, to say, I'm not afraid. He'll say that tomorrow. He'll say, we are not afraid and we are going to win. It's going to look bold and beautiful, really. And he's not letting the Secret Service tell him, don't do this. They told him not to do public rallies anymore. Screw you. I'm doing it. I'm the president and I'm going to win this election, and I'm not afraid like Kamala is. She's afraid to do a press conference. She's never done one. She won't do one. So, and today he held a live town hall in Fayetteville, North Carolina. I don't know how close that is to the devastation, but it's probably close. I mean, I don't know. And then, so that's what we have. I think Trump's chances are solid today. I think they're solid. I don't think he can do anything that could hurt his chances from this point forward. There's nothing he can do. Everything that they try to make up or think of or prosecute or say, nobody gives a frog's fat you-know-what except the people in a small bubble that nobody listens to and doesn't watch or care about. I think I think that's the problem. And I think she's not going to change. And she doesn't know what she's doing. She won't reveal what she wants to do. She has not changed. She said her values haven't changed in that CNN interview. So, no, I don't think it's going to change. I think Trump's chances of winning right now are fairly good. Fairly good. I feel fairly confident today, pretty confident that we're going to win, really do. Because he can't hurt himself any more than he has with what he does. He's not doing another debate. Nobody cares about him doing another debate anymore. She needed it. He didn't. He was right. And she's not going to go up anymore. She has done all she can, and she's barely beating him, or she's losing to him. And he is going to continue to do what he does. And I think in the end, people are going to vote their wallets. They're going to really decide when they go in that voting booth. They're going to say, I don't like him, but I want my country back on track. I want it safe. I want the wars to end, and I want my wallet back. Most importantly, I want my wallet back and grocery prices and energy prices down. He will do that. I think that's it. We do not want another term of this. 800-288-WBAP is our number. Lines wide open. Chime in right now, 800-288-9227. Coming up next, the illegal invasion. There's a lot of bad stuff. Tren de Aragua is here in North Dallas. They did a very brutal robbery, several of them, to a woman who is in a well-off community in North Dallas. It is brutal. It is what we've been telling you about, but now we have intimate details from Fox 4. We also have the numbers on illegal migrant, Kamala Joe, illegal migrant murder convictions are tens of thousands of higher than ISIS bombshell figures, new data says. And hundreds of millions of dollars taken from FEMA, which has run out of money for the next hurricane disaster. And also lots of their staff sent to for all these illegals. I'll give you full details on that coming up next. This is a disaster, and it's a violent wave that we don't even understand how bad it is coming at us. In fact, that's what the expert told Fox 4 in Dallas-Fort Worth today. All that's next on the Chris Crock Show at 3 minutes after the hour of 10 o'clock on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3. Lines wide open. Chime in right now.